topic number 4 in the meantime says, honestly, do only broke wokes care about the community? This came with a link taking us to X. By the way, I'm kind of appreciating these links to X. So keep those attachments to YouTube and X as much as you can. This is from the Menace. It says Charleston White really gave up on the black community. It says here he got some money and switched up. So let's see what's being discussed here.
Basically saying, well, you're a community activist, right?
No, I'm a community. I started out as a community activist. I came to the internet as a frustrated community activist. Then I started getting money off the internet. Once I started getting money, it's fuck the community. Only people who think about community is broke motherfuckers. Motherfucker with money don't give a damn about fixing the community.
But don't people look at that as you turning your back on the community?
I am. I don't do a motherfucking thing no more, community nigga. I'm not no community nigga no more. I don't give a fuck about the community. Fuck them schools in Fort Worth, my nigga. Well, nigga, I ain't in this. I don't want to help the school, nigga. Fuck the school. I'm in the strip clubs now. I done went from the schools to the strip club. I'm having way more fun, nigga. Fuck them, but nigga, I'm in the strip club now, my nigga. That's why they ain't seeing me in the school. I'm staying out too late. I wasn't drinking, now I kind of drank a little bit. Nigga, I'm having fun. I ain't got time to stop and help the poor nigga babies in the school.
Basically saying, well, you're a community activist, right?
No, I'm a community. I started out as a community activist. I came to the internet as a frustrated community activist. Then I started getting money off the internet. Once I started getting money, it's fuck the community. Only people who think about community is broke motherfuckers. Motherfucker with money don't give a damn about fixing the community.
But don't people look at that as you turning your back on the community?
I am. I don't do a motherfucking thing no more, community nigga. I'm not no community nigga no more. I don't give a fuck about the community. Fuck them schools in Fort Worth, my nigga. Well, nigga, I ain't in this. I don't want to help the school, nigga. Fuck the school. I'm in the strip clubs now. I done went from the schools to the strip club. I'm having way more fun, nigga. Fuck them, but nigga, I'm in the strip club now, my nigga. That's why they ain't seeing me in the school. I'm staying out too late. I wasn't drinking, now I kind of drank a little bit. Nigga, I'm having fun. I ain't got time to stop and help the poor nigga babies in the school.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is a common. I think that's a common thought, and I'll also say I think this is a part of propaganda too. I think a part of the propaganda is when you commit and submit to the system, you have prosperity. And so what is all this talk about oppression and this, that, and the other? So this guy, Charleston White, I have a lot of frustrations with him because there's times where he makes sense and there's times when he's just like, God damn, what a ignorant sellout Negro. Let me hear from some of our Africans from America or in America friends. Let me start with Anthony. Anthony, what say you to this?
Okay. Hey, Koku, can I go? Will you do my sister first, man? Let me come after her.
Sure, no problem. I was gonna go to her first, but I wanted to ease her in. But Mika G is on you now. What are your thoughts about broke wokes? Is it only broke wokes who care about the community? Mika, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. It doesn't look like your mic is muted.
I'm mute, Mika.
All right, let me go to Black Steel quickly since he's back, and I'll come back to Mika G. Mika G, if you have to step out and come back in, maybe that'll fix the problem. Black Steel, what say you?
Well, I tried to put it in the chat. I said I hope this dude dies in a grease fire, but I couldn't say that because they couldn't let me say that. But anyway, yeah, I hope he dies in a grease. I hate Charleston White. I really do. Like he's such a you can easily tell he's telling on himself, right? He is telling on himself that he doesn't give a shit about black people. All he worries about getting. Where's his money coming from? What is he doing to make he can get all this money where he can go and be in strip clubs or whatnot? Where's his money coming from? I don't know. I would say this money is coming from his paid handlers. People like him are meant to spread confusion. Who's giving this dude a platform? What has he done? Why are we even talking about this man? The only thing he's done is express his hatred for African people. That's the only thing he's ever done. Where is this? Who keeps inviting him to shit? That's what I want to know. Who keeps putting a microphone in front of this clown's face? He is. I got so many things I could say, but this only broke woke people care about the community. The problem is this, right? If your goal, first of all, I want to say that again, all black people are going to fight for liberation, right? But there's a certain class of black people. We have class distinctions within the black community, right? And their fortunes are generally tied to the well-being of the society. So if the stock market crashes, they're going to lose out on some money. It's a lot of black people. We're not tied to the economy like that. I mean, we're not tied to most people aren't tied to the stock market, things like that. But anyways, their fortunes, because they're so intertwined with the society. We always talk about the boule and those talented 10th Negroes that Du Bois talk about. They're so connected to the whims and the fortunes that they're not going to risk their standing in society. That's why a lot of people say, why don't the rappers and the athletes do anything? Because they're not going to risk their money. They're not going to risk losing out on their millions of dollars. Look, everybody looks at what happened with what's his name, Kaepernick. What he did was light. He didn't do no revolutionary shit, but it was enough for him to lose his job. And a lot of these wealthy black people, they're not going to risk that. So to his point, you're not going to really see a lot of wealthy black people who really are going to do anything more than just superficial changes, right? That would involve them committing class suicide. And a lot of black people don't want to do that. They don't want to go back to being poor and impoverished or having to borrow money to pay their light bill. They don't want to do that. So to his point, if you're wealthy, the more wealth you have, the less likely you're really going to do anything to challenge the status quo. Everything other than that, fuck this dude, man. I hate his voice. He sounds like a Boondocks character. Yeah, man, I don't know who keeps. He might be worse than Tariq Nasheed. I thought Tariq Nasheed might be the worst, but he might be the worst. He might be worse than Tariq Nasheed because he's the worst. But yeah, he's a clown. But the idea that many black people who are wealthy are not going to commit class suicide, that's true. But I don't think that being broke is necessarily. You can still have money. You can still have some level of wealth. But yeah, African people who really want liberation, that don't mean you got to be impoverished or living out of a cardboard box to care about the community. That's dumb. But you're not going to be in the 1%. That's not going to happen. But you can still work, have a living, have a home, and care about the community. This dude's just a sellout. He's just a clown. And he really, he's obviously protected, obviously, because the way he talks and the way he moves, he's definitely an agent. He's definitely working for some of the alphabet boys. I'll leave it there. Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Black Steel. I agree with much of what you said too. When he first came out on the scene, at least when I first caught up to him on the scene, to me he made some sense. He used to talk about the gang culture. He used to talk about a lot of the negative aspects of Black culture and stuff like that. I think Afro Native World kind of recognized that about him too. And then he started professing to be playing a character, and then he started to profess to being I forgot what he called himself the other day. Oh, a comedian. And so once you start seeing those switch ups like that, you got to question. You have to question everything about him from the start. It's kind of how I look at Umar Johnson too, by the way. But with that said, let me go back to Anthony McPhail. Anthony, what say you to it?
Yeah. Yeah, but hey, that brother right there, Charles White, is like, well, Black Steel hit it on the head. He's an agent. Look here, they put people like that. Malcolm X told us this. They put people like that in front of you. In the beginning, they say a couple of things, a couple of good things to kind of get you, okay, yeah, just like Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed started off like a Pan-Africanist. You know what I'm saying? He started off as a Pan-Africanist. And then he went on into that other bullshit. But I think they sit these type of people in front of you, to capture your mind. I mean, they master manipulators, man. I mean, but Charles, he's never been, as long as I've been watching, been hearing him on YouTube, whatever, he's never been no more than what he is now. Now you got to talk about, that fuck that black shit. He's always been that. No, all he ever talked about is like, these Negro rappers and celebrities and all of the bullshit that they do. He's never been about for the liberation of African people or for the empowerment of Black people. He's never been about that. It reminded me of Phil Scott. Phil Scott. I remember when Phil Scott started out with the Advice show. What he used to do, always with that world stuff. Excoriating Black women, you know what I'm saying? The ratchet behavior of Black women. And now he got the African Diaspora channel. And every now and then he still sneak that FBA agenda shit in. You know what I'm saying? He has the Diaspora channel, then he got another part that's called the Black Congregation. That's where they speak their FBA shit. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna always have somebody they're gonna talk a little bit Black, they're gonna talk a little bit pro-Black, a little bit Pan-African, but then they're gonna go and hit you with that other shit, the real shit that they all about. And it's just, they plants. People put people like the power structure put people like this in to cause confusion. They put them in to cause confusion. That's why you have, you'll look at a beauty pageant or something, in Southern Africa, and a Nigerian sister, a Black woman, a sister, being, well, she's not a South African and she's not, she's a foreigner and all this here, and let the white bitch win. You know what I'm saying? Because you had, look who the people in power in South Africa. Some old Negro sellouts. You know what I'm saying? Some old Negro puppets. The ANC. Huh? Yeah, the ANC. You know what I'm saying? They pushing an agenda. They always sit these people out like that, for all this old bullshit. You're gonna always have some sucker running around saying some stuff like, pro-Israeli or pro-American government, and we always had that kind of stuff, man. They sit those kind of Negroes out. Malcolm X talked about that. They'll sit you out, these little entertainers and jazz players and singers and everything, and those your leaders, those your representatives. It's just pitiful to me because we listen at these jokers like this fool right here, Charleston White. We listen at fools like, what's this other sucker name, man? He'll talk a little Black every now and then, but then he'll come with that old Black indigenous shit, Lord Jamar. You know what I'm saying? And all these other old fools. It's just a part of the game. And I'm like, I call like Black Steel, like, why the hell we features a joker like this? You know what I'm saying? We all know what they're about. But I don't want to talk too long, man. I knock off right there.
No. You were good. You were good. With that said, let's welcome in Brother Bakari this week. Brother Bakari, how are you?
Cool. Did Mika ever come in?
She hasn't come back yet.
Okay, I'm gonna call her.
All right.
I'm great, man. How you doing? How to pound? How to chat?
I'm good. Thanks for
Look,
coming through. What say you?
yeah, I was just got to piggyback on what a lot of what they said about Charleston White. Shit, one, like who constantly talking to him. Two, Charleston White is a clown. He been on a comedy tour. He's a comedian. What do more comedians do? How do they make their money? Crapping on black people. Even the comedians that black people love, who how do they make their money? Crapping on black people. Uh, Having money don't mean you don't care about the black community. What that means is you never cared about the black community and you use the black community to make money. But our mindset is in the way we allow narratives and stuff and scams to be run on us, all they have to do is say one thing good that we like. If they say one thing good that we like, it doesn't make a difference for the most part. What they do or what they say after that, we hold on, we hold on to them. We are naive, gullible, we are easily manipulated. Everybody come and take advantage of us. And we sit back like good little boys and girls and we accept it. Like what they're doing is is a great thing. I'm gonna tell you how crazy this Charleston White stuff have become. I was out at the Marcus Garvey festival today, and there was a guy out there. He was selling T-shirts, and I just went there and said the new UN. And this is an old guy. He's an elder. I'm 52. He was an elder than me. He probably had about 10, 15 years on me. And we talking like, what's the new UN? You know, we the United Nigger Nation. Pardon my French because I don't use that word. So, but that's what it meant, right? The United N-word Nation. I'm like, dude, but we're not there. Why do we have to call ourselves that? So he go through the process of telling me, let him go on Google so he can prove to me and educate me on how we always been N-words. I'm like, dude, I'm not that. I don't want to see that. That's stupid, right? He got upset. I didn't care, right? I didn't care. I didn't care about him being upset, but that's stupid. But we would allow people like that around and see, and that come from Charleston White. See, we didn't. What he said, we would see we the N words. See, we been there. See, in Texas, the reason I call myself the N word, because you know when the white man, when you stood up to the white man, he called you the N word. All the rest of them, he just called boy. Just constantly think of reasons to constantly say the things that he say, but then it catches on social media, right? That's why I put the question in the chat on your last prompt. When you say black media, who are you talking about? Because Charleston White could be considered black media. The people that interviewing him and allowing him to come around and allowing him to spew that message. Because those people that interviewing him feel the same way Charleston White feel. That's why they are interviewing him so they can get click, likes, and views and build up their channel and make some money. So they feel the same way he feel, right? They feel the same way Tariq Nasheed feel. They feels the same way Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, Hot Dog Sweaty Neck. I can't even think of his name. Anthony McPhail just said his name. Phil from that Vice show when he used to be out there calling black women hyenas. That's how part of the way he built his channel up. Now all of a sudden he's African diaspora, lie like with a Mexican wife, and then tell black people why y'all get mad because he got a Mexican wife because his wife do more for the black community than anybody that's talking about her. She always doing stuff for the black community. We need allies like her, but it's allowed. And you know, I piss people off the way that I talk, and I've gotten to the point I don't care about people being pissed off because some stuff just have to be said. And when I talk about these people, I did a live about a week ago. It was facts versus narrative. And if anybody watched that, all you have to do, it doesn't make a difference what fact you showed people, what fact that was shown. Our people wanted to stick with a narrative that have been given to them. And I shown the guy who was debating Roland Martin. And when Roland Martin told him the next time you come, man, bring facts. What did he say? We're not concerned about a fact. We're concerned about perception and a narrative. If you can spin a good narrative, that will outweigh the facts any day of the week. And I see that in our community. Because how is it anybody would still interview Charleston White? Anybody still pay any attention to Dr. Umar Johnson? Anybody still pay any attention to Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Drew, Bitcha X, any of these people? How? Because if you listen to these people talk, I would say, with the exception of Dr. Umar Johnson on this point, everything they talk about, who's blamed? It's gonna be the immigrants is blamed for everything. These people gonna always figure out a way. When Anthony said they're gonna be on their FBA talk, right? Those people that's on their FBA ADOS talk, they're gonna always figure out a way to give white people here a pass. That's why I don't judge. That's why I suggest people not to just put everything on Jews. Because if you do that, now you're giving all these people that enslaved black people, all these people here that did Jim Crow, all these people that did all this bad stuff to black people is getting a pass because we want to say it's one group of people, the Jews. So a narrative has been spun. And now, can you defeat the narrative with a fact? It's hard. Charleston White has spun a narrative. We the N-word nation. You know how many people say that? And now we're proud to be that, but now they're gonna get mad if a white person said to them. So I agree with what folks were saying about Charleston White. On that point, I get him, Mike.
I appreciate that, Brother Bakari. In the chat, someone seemingly new, I don't remember his name, Siri Joshua Hajstein, the African devil, says the new school talking heads from YouTube are the most dangerous kinds of actors because they spew every kind of backwards politic to black people except Pan-African control of the means of production. I actually like that comment. Cheryl, says this guy came out, admit what he do. Is Tariq gonna do that, or is he gonna keep up the scam? I'm just saying. Thanks for those comments. Let's direct it back to Sister Mika G. Mika, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, sister. Did you catch the conversation so far?
Yes, I did. I heard the Charleston White piece.
Okay, take it away.
I personally, I've never been a fan of him. I always felt like he was an opportunist, and he used certain situations, and it just didn't seem genuine. So when he came out and admitted it, it was nothing new for me. But to say that only poor people care about the community, I feel like not just the poor. I just think that some of the successful or rich people don't do as much because they may not want it to affect, their income and whatnot. So not saying that they don't care. And then a lot of them do stuff, but they do it anonymously. Um, so I just never been a fan of him. Never really paid attention to much of what he said because I just felt like he wasn't there for the black community, men or women, especially the women. And so when he came out and made that statement, I wasn't shocked or surprised.
Mika, what was the first thing that turned you off about him?
Uh, it's just he wanted to blame like the black people for everything. Everything was our doing, our fault. in some situations, yeah, it's things we could have done or we contributed, but a lot of it, for I look at it, is about the area you in, teaching, it's a lot of other stuff. But he was so focused on blaming everyone, and then just the way he just dogged black women. I just was not a fan of that.
I appreciate that. Mika, we might be coming back to you in a few. Just hang tight with us for a minute. But what you're saying is something I've been paying attention to more and more. And I'll give props to Bakari for this too. Since Bakari has been around, I've been paying attention to that stuff more. When you see black folks talking about black folks, but never mention this white boy, that sends up red flags for me, man. I pay attention to that stuff. I would tell you, I think there's a lot of things black folks can do better. I think there's a lot of things. In fact, you guys check out Oni's channel. Oni was talking about it recently. I forget who the Japanese scholar was, but I think black folks sometimes need to choose death before dishonor. So sometimes some of the negative things black folks do, I think we need to be honest about it. But I would say that you cannot just talk about black folks and what they do and not talk about the person who creates or helps to create a lot of the situation too, With that said, let's go to, I guess, Jose. Let's go to Jose.
Yes. Yeah, I have a self-made saying. It's refurbished. It used to be power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I noticed something. People go viral, coincidental, or with some help of three-letter organizations. Could be. I suspect. Yes, me too. I suspect some of them are paid agents, but I think most of them, they go viral. So going viral corrupts. No, no, no. Getting likes corrupts, but going viral corrupts absolutely. And I mean, many of them, they go viral once, and then they think that they need to stay. What's the word? What's the word? They need to stay relative. I'm translating from Dutch right now, so
Relevant.
relevant, right? So yeah. After going viral, they do anything to stay relevant, and yeah, also my personal experience in these grassroots level is that in the black community, you find a lot of burned out people, right? So hopeless men, or men that are at the end of a dead end, looking for something, be it pussy, friends, to go out with, or whatever, and the same for a lot of, if not most of the ladies. Yeah, burned out, ran into a wall or something like that. And he looks and sounds like exactly that, and I thought I thought he came across savage. It's like you became one of them. You're a Babylonian. You're not one of us. You're a Babylonian. You're a consumerist. You were unhappy. You're not pro-black. You're unhappy that you're not getting a piece of white man's cake, right? So yeah, those are like in my experience. What I thought that I saw was most grassroots people fall in those three categories. Either at the end of a dead end, ran into a wall, or yeah, broke in many levels, not only financial. So yeah, I agree with and what would Garvey say? I think Garvey would advise everybody to not listen to him.
Thank you for that, Jose. Let's hear from, I think I heard from Black Steeler, right?
Yeah, I went first. I went first. But
Okay.
yeah, just to say, man, if Garvey was here, he would say all Africans don't need to go back to Africa just because there are Africans who are no good over here. They'd be no good over there. He was talking about Charleston White.
Good addition there. I appreciate that. Let's hear from Buana. Buana, what say you to what you saw?
Yeah, for me, Koku, I would never, ever, ever get offended when a man talks about himself and how he perceives things. In fact, I tend to listen very carefully. Now, I don't like his language. I don't like his language at all, you know, but he is talking from his heart and how he perceives the world. Now, whether I understand we live in a world where rhetoric doesn't mean anything. And for me personally, I have always been a man where I don't really listen too much about what a person is saying because I stick around to see what he actually does and I judge him based off of that standard. And people have done so with me too. So, where you judge and assess me and call me a hypocrite or whatever based off of what I do, I can respect that. I don't know what his mind daily operation is. I don't know what he does, for a living and where he puts his money. But rhetoric is something that right now is becoming a non-factor. It's really nothing, But for me, he's speaking from out of his heart, and I listen very carefully. And if he thinks of black people in a very shabby way, then I know how to weigh and measure him. I don't get offended by it. I just know where he stands, and I know how to weigh and measure this particular man because there are many men like this. But as far as the prompt itself and wokeism and woke is broke, listen, we know that Bill Cosby was a multi-millionaire, and he gave millions of dollars to black universities and causes throughout his career. So, and he wasn't broke by no means. There was another brother who just gave to Morehouse University $40 million, clearing off the debt of many black men who was coming out of university. I think his name is like Robert Johnson or something like that. You don't necessarily have to be broke because you are aware of what the circumstances is in America and how you perceive yourself. In fact, money will expose the real you. Money sometimes exposes the real you, who you really are as a human being. This man has money now, so he's another brother polite, and he's basically shouting it from the rafters. Hey, it was all a hustle for me. Basically, I don't really give a f about the black community. I think that old DB, when he was asked a question like, "What are you doing for the black community?" He's like, "Hey, nothing." You know what I mean? He's basically exposing himself and telling you what he is really about. That's nothing to be offended by. Nothing to be offended by at all, because we know people like this existed within our community throughout time and memorial. Money sometimes exposes the real you, but there are others who do contribute. And when they say wokeism, that's not true. Sometimes when people get money and they get empowered, they do bless other people. They do give back to their communities. It's just the type of men that they are. He is just trying to box the black community and say, well, okay, I'm rich now, so I don't need to give a shit. Nah, man, you are just being yourself. You just be you. The real you has come out to form. I'm not offended by it. Not so ever. Because I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue to be me, the real me, and I'm going to continue to do my real work. But as the brothers are right, he really shouldn't be on the table for discussion. He is a nothing, a nobody. Traore has taken the dollar, the so-called dollar off of the European standard, and he's putting it onto the gold standard right now. This is something to really talk about and address. You know, I see my brother Zuli in the room. The Haitians, them fighting the war against global imperialism right now. We talking about comedians and what they think and feel. Come on, man. We in a different kind of conversation right now, but I understand. You know, it's the nature of things. I understand it's the nature of things, but you know, like I say, money is expose you, and money will really show you who you really are. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I stick around and see what you actually do. Uh, Dr. Johnson has been talking for a very long time, and now he talking about women and different kinds of issues or whatever. But we stick around and we see the results of 13 years and what it is actually being produced. And any man word that salt say, man, this man ain't serious. No matter what he say, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. We are judge as men. We judge and assess you based on the results of your actions, not what you say, not what you say. You know, but you know, like I say, man, I understand this. This is edutainment, so I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Well, give us something Gavi would say about this, Juana.
Oh, Gavi is dismiss him right away. Gavi talked about the fact that when he was referring to the so-called intellectuals at his time, you know, the EB, the voices of the world, and he said that these guys are they talk a good game. They talk a good game, but when it comes to brass taxes, when it comes to making things practical, they can't implement the ideas that they write on paper. It's all just fluff. It's talk. Because when he dealing with the practicalities of life and real people and having to solve real life situations, the whole thing you have to sing from another song key. You have to sing from another song key. You know, so like I say, these guys, you have to actualize the things that you express from your mouth and ideologize. You have to make things practical. Make things practical and real. And if you can't make it real, you're just talking, and we shouldn't pay attention to you. You know, but that's what Gavi would say. I'll leave it there.
I appreciate that, Buana. In the chat, Herzuliism says he is expressing his frustration and maybe he realized you Negroes are sick. He says Gavi died before he saw how Negroes act. Real Black Gentleman in the chat says Gavi wins if he anticipates Du Bois's sabotage. That's it. That's the message. We could come back to what Erzuli said, because Erzuli, even though it might rub some wrong, there is a valid point in there. What happens when the pro-Black, Pan-African, Gaviite, revolutionary, what happens when they're fed up? What happens when they're fed up and they decide, unfortunately, to turn away from it? That's something we can discuss after. But in the meantime, let's get Oni's thoughts on what everyone had to say and the video itself. Oni?
Yeah, so, I don't like the N-word usage, but it is what it is. It's an interesting point. Obviously, not only broke wokes care about the community. There are like athletes who hit it big and then they, finance big things in their communities and so on and so forth, right? Even so, I think I want to bring in 2 Garvey quotes. It's kind of cool that we're doing some Garvey quotes. So I'm gonna keep up that thing, and let's see if I find it here. So one of them is this. First off, this one was inside of Message to the People. So that's my favorite Garvey book. For Message to the People, he says, "Never keep the constant company of anybody who doesn't know as much as you or isn't as educated as you, and from whom you cannot learn something or reciprocate your learning, especially if that person is illiterate or ignorant, because constant association with such a person will unconsciously cause you to drift into the peculiar culture or ignorance of that person." And to a large degree, what Garvey's kind of saying is, stop going to these ADOS folk, stop going to these FBA folks, stop going to these swirler people, stop going to these MGTOW or whatever, or the other one, the black male studies. Stop going to these people because they're gonna mess up. They're gonna mess with your head. And Charleston White is one of those people who's gonna mess with your head. And so the other quote I wanted to put, and this was really the quote I was looking for. I don't remember where it's from, but Marcus Garvey said, "You must not mistake lip service and noise for bravery and service." I'm not going to say being a community activist is easy, but as he pointed out, when you got nothing, you can complain to your government about how I ain't got nothing, and in some respects that would make you a community organizer. Now, again, I don't know Charleston White, so I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was doing something with a school or something. I don't know. But again, if you want to complain to your government, you got nothing going on, you might well do that, and then you can get bought. And the thing, like I said, black people were enslaved because we are very easily bought. Okay? White boy buys you, and that's it. And we see this day in, day out, time and time again. This white boy waves some money inside of black folks' heads, and they do just about damn anything. A lot of the drug trafficking or a lot of the drug trade, a lot of the gang banging that happens in inner city communities ties back in with white folk paying. But you got to ask yourself, you telling me you would sell, crack cocaine to an elderly woman? You would sell marijuana and this and that, and you would shoot you would shoot at other people, just for some money. It's absolutely. By a lot of black folk will say absolutely, and so what Garvey saying, don't mistake lip service and noise. Again, anybody can make noise. Anybody can do lip service. It really comes down to, well, two things. If the opposition tells you to stop, what are you gonna do? And I guess we could go back to the Musashi quote. Musashi said, and this was I like this. I like what he said. He said, for a warrior, to be a warrior means to choose death always, right? And of course, not suicide and shit. But he's saying, so the opposition comes to you and tells you to stop. What's a warrior's response? And it's, I ain't stopping. However, what a lot of people are saying is, for how much? And I'm saying this because, like I said, I used to be in an organization with Alton Maddox, and he would tell us how when he was, doing his organizing, people would, approach him with like suitcases of jewels. Okay, suitcases of gold and jewels and all that kind of stuff. The kind of, cartoon type shit. Not like cash or whatever, but yeah, or suitcases of cash, all that kind of stuff, or briefcases of cash, that kind of stuff. People would approach him, and he would turn it down. And he said one of the stories that happened was that him and there was this one case of this brother in I think it was Bensonhurst, right, who got killed, and they did a protest, and it was a successful protest, and these white folk, came to them, and were like, "We'll give you anything if you stop the boycott." Because they were doing a boycott every Saturday, and that's when black folk hand their money back to white people, right? So white people was pissed. So they said, "We'll do anything." And so Maddox told them, he said, "All right, tell us the name of your children who harmed tell us the name of the boys who harmed our the black youth." And the white people told us, and this was interesting, the way people said, we can't turn on our own children. Like we can't give away our own children. And so then what was it? Alton Maddox stood up and said, "Okay, then we got nothing to talk about." And as he was getting up, he said he looked back and he saw Al Sharpton and C. Vernon Mason still sitting down. No, C. Vernon Mason, Al Sharpton, and the boy's father still sitting down. Like, can we have this conversation without Maddox? And then, of course, shortly after that, well, according to the story, Al Sharpton was started to wear, he stopped wearing tracksuits and started wearing suits, and he stopped being this skinny guy with, medallions or whatever, and started being, a fat boy, with riches. But the point being, right? Of course, now he's skinny as a mofo, but still, with a show. But the point being that the opposition is constantly trying to buy people. And the reality is that some people who is never no good, they might have, they might be like, I protest this, I protest that. But in their hearts, they were never that good. And the thing is that this is a very frequent phenomenon. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not really paying attention to it because, it don't really interest me. But right now, there's content creators for quote unquote, I guess, Black women versus Palestinian women, and a lot of the Black women are like, we pulling away from Palestine because blah blah blah, Kamala Harris and all that kind of stuff. But they pulling away, and the way how they, they just retract. The Palestinian women are like, wait a second, y'all just gonna just give up just like that, and it's like, yeah. That, like, it's really it, and of course, I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but what I'm saying is that, absolutely very few people are standing on principle. Very few people are standing on principle. A lot of people are unprincipled, especially in our community. A lot of people, and so you can buy them out, and everybody knows this. And it goes back to what Garvey said earlier. Everybody knows you could buy Black people. So slavery, of course slavery ended, right? But the fact that you could buy people is scary. Is scary. And that's why, for me personally, when I'll tell people, I guess I'll reiterate, with Garvey, is you gotta go where they're not buying people. You gotta go where they're, you gotta step away. If you're in the West, step away. That's it.
Really appreciate that, Oni. I had brought up earlier, honestly, what happens to the person who is not just jaded? They've been the activists. It's not even so much about them being bought by anyone, but they haven't gotten anything personally from it. They haven't seen any traction, and now they're looking to just move on and improve their lives. What would you say to that person? We had Azuli in the chat who had some things to say. He said Garvey died before he saw how you Negroes act, etc. So I guess we have a chance to kind of deal with it. Azuli is here. Azuli, how are you this week?
Yo, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just talk a little louder.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I think Charleston White I've heard a lot of things that Charleston White has to say. Another thing he says to me, he's putting facts, but also he's a caricature. And he said it. He said it that he had to act this way to get people to listen. So I don't know. I'm going from another perspective. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's been doing community active. He's been a community activist. He's gone into the fight for a lot of us, or a lot of the people of his community, and we don't know. This man probably have seen that, at the end of the day, everybody is just fighting for crumbs. So I believe that, just like him, that a lot of people are frustrated. And I think when he's saying that, when broke people are only fighting for the community, a lot of the people that he said that are probably just fighting for crumbs, and it appears to a lot of people that they're fighting for the community. So I'm saying I'm not. I don't know if this man sold out. I don't know anything like. I'm just going by what I think, that a lot of us get frustrated by by the way we are responding to the constant imperialistic and violation of our community. So Buana always says the Haitian people. Yo, one of the biggest, Haiti's corrupted as hell. So if you want to use that, there's another country that quote unquote fought for their freedom, quote unquote did this, and look at what happened with the country. From the inside, from the outside, the powers that be came back and really recolonized that country with the help of corrupt Haitians. They put a chokehold on Haiti economically. All the other countries, all the other Black Caribbean countries around, just let Haiti go through that. And can I blame them? No, they don't have no power themselves. They all begging for handout from the same force that is siphoning resources from their country. So imagine you've been fighting this for years. You mean to tell me Garvey would have been like, yeah, continue fighting? It was a black man and a couple of black people that got Garvey out of America. Are you guys kidding me? That you don't understand where this brother's coming from? Who killed Malcolm X? Y'all, nigga. Y'all. With the help of y'all. Y'all betrayed your own heroes. And we want to talk about, Africa, Africa. What? Africa never came back for y'all after they sold y'all. Never. A couple have. Big continent like that for over 600 more. They've been subjugated by the Arabs and they've been subjugated by the Europeans. South Africa, they're xenophobic against Nigerians. They're mad at Nigerians. They're mad at that Nigerian girl who wanted to become Miss South Africa. And then they elected a Dutch descendant, French descendant, as their Miss South Africa. And you guys stay right here and say don't understand this brother's frustration? Are we kidding right now? No, we cannot. That this for Africa to be in the state that it is till now, that it was prior. And people seem to not understand where this brother's coming from. This election coming up, you're going to see why this brother was right. So I don't know what y'all saying, if he took money, if it's not. Yes, and I agree with a lot of people here that says that a bunch of people who claim to be trying to help the community, many of them are there for money. But a lot of people who get frustrated with this. Even the broke activists, even the rich activist, not so-called, there shouldn't be nothing as a rich activist, but an activist person who's all right, who's doing good for themselves. You get on here, you can't we can't criticize. I get on here, you can't criticize black people because black people on here call you you're a sellout because you criticize black people. So we sit here and act like there's no reason for somebody who was fighting for the community to be frustrated. I don't understand. And brother, Dr. Umar has been raising money for a school for 15 years. We shouldn't criticize him, right? Al Sharpton, Ben, all these people that claim they're fighting for black people. And I'm going back to Haiti. Look at the state of Haiti right now. You think that's what the dream of Toussaint, Dessalines, Caporal, that's what they wanted? For us to sit there, Garvey would be like, Garvey should shut up because the same people, they got him out of America. Let's stop coming here like, oh, so we refuse to see this man. Yes, he's so yeah. I don't see that he's doing that because he's frustrated. Oh no, I don't. Somebody said, oh, I don't pay attention. Yo, if you listen to a lot of stuff he said, this brother speaks the truth, but y'all don't like that truth. Y'all don't like that truth that makes you look into your own self and say, yo, change, black man, change, black woman, stop being immoral. Stop being so materialistic.
Are you done? Are you done?
No, I'm not.
Jesus Christ, hurry up, fuck.
You ain't lying. Me and Black Steel don't ever agree, but we agree on that.
Well, I don't care. This is exactly it. I don't care. This is the funny thing. I don't care if
No,
you
let the brother
agree.
talk. Let the brother talk. Let the brother
You
talk.
on this, you guys are on this show every freaking Saturday, talk the same shit. Never want to look inside to fix the situation.
And you never want to look outside. It's always our fault. White man did nothing wrong. White man's not immoral, but black people are. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Oh, of course. I get it. I get it. That's a crackhead. When you tell a crackhead he's a crackhead, he don't want to hear that. I get it. Y'all have crackhead mentalities. But I'm done. Go ahead.
Thank God.
Hey, you about to go, Black Steel? All right.
I'm gonna make this quick, right? So I'm gonna say this, man. First of all, human beings get tired. We're only human, right? We can only do so much, which is why it's so important to belong to an organization, right? I think that's why so many of us mess up sometimes, because what organizations are you working with? So that when you get tired, right, you can pass the baton. It's never going to be a situation where just one person is trying to try and uplift all of black people. But when you don't belong to an organization, yeah, you're going to get burnt out. But there's really no excuse for a black person to say they belong to the United Nigga Nation. Like, what are we really talking about? When you got black people like Charleston White who say, "Oh, we niggas. They niggas never came from Africa to come and get us." Like that just shows a real ignorance of history, a real ignorance of geography. Just what are we really talking about? And it's okay if you don't know, but when you sit up here and when you're willfully ignorant to say things like, "Oh, we niggas," and these people, what? What are we really talking about? And whenever we have this conversation, right, I'm perfectly fine with criticizing black people. Yes, black people's response to white hegemony has been the wrong response. But when you make it, I'm gonna paraphrase Kwame Ture, whenever you make an analysis of an oppressed people, but you leave out the oppressed, you're going to come to an incorrect analysis because you're going to blame the oppressed for all their problems. And that's what I always hear you do, is you're always blame. Whenever black people from shit, what are we doing? Immorality. What are we talking about here? Like, white people sit up here and rape and colonize and pillage the whole world, and we talking about black people's immorality? How many genocides that are currently ongoing that white people are responsible for? We're talking about black people's immorality. It always kills me whenever we talk about some people morals. White people are the most immoral people to have ever existed on the face of the earth. But we talk about black people's morals. Let's be real for a moment. So I'm perfectly fine with criticizing or critiquing black people's response to this shit. But let's not ignore what got us into this position in the first place and what keeps us in the position. These corrupt leaders in Haiti, they wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the United States propping them up. These people wouldn't exist if it wasn't for France and Belgium and Great Britain having the support behind them. What happened when the U.S. got rid of their support from Mobutu in the Congo? He was out of there in a few months. He was gone. So we can't complain about corrupt African or corrupt Caribbean leaders without ignoring the fact that if these people would not have the power to do what they do without the United States and the West giving them the help. So I just want to be focused on what the true enemy is. And I don't see Haitians as my enemy. I don't see Jamaicans or other black people across the diaspora as my enemy. These crackers are the enemy. And until we focus on that, we're going to continue to be pointing our fingers at the wrong person. I'm done.
Okay, look. So when he say black people got rid of Garvey, I guess J. Edgar Hoover is. I guess he one of those people that say J. Edgar Hoover is black. He only said and find all the negative about. I can't say who Goku should have on his panel, but he's gonna only sit and find all the negative about black people. Then he say we kill our own heroes, an organization that he say he was part of, the NOI, that he say killed Malcolm. That is something he was part of, and he liked Farrakhan, something who has something to do with that. But he want to point the finger and say Charleston White is tired. Charleston White is tired of what? Tell me something Charleston White has done to be so tired. And nobody say you can't get frustrated, but because you're frustrated to start to sound like you and Charleston White. See, yeah, these are the type that will run, keep people where I told you they walk upright just like us. They kind of look like us, even though this guy he'll say he a Native American because he said no Africans never came and got y'all. So I don't even know why he just discussing Africa. He's a Native American, but anyway, he's Native, whatever his name used to be. But anyway, they walk upright. They can speak your language. They look like you, but they ain't you. They speak in a different language. They are there just to infiltrate. They are there just to tell you how sorry you are. Just like Tariq Nasheed want to tell all black women how sorry they are, and he can openly talk about get a mixed girl with a white mama because a white mama is just a better mother than a black mother, but black people still listen to him. See, the thing about it is, see, the thing about it is, we can listen to stuff like that, and we can listen to people like Charleston White, and you can listen to people like Azuli, because that's how most of us really truly feel about ourselves. I have never seen a person don't see nothing positive. So when he say with Toussaint L'Ouverture, well, you know, Toussaint L'Ouverture was one of those people that kind of didn't like black folks who wanted to work with the French, and he was, yeah, he led a revolution, but they could stay, and he wanted to keep imperial kind of like imperialism to Saint Overture. That's kind of like what he wanted somewhat. He wouldn't really try to get rid of them completely. He just didn't want to be enslaved. So now when you listen to Izuli, that's kind of like what he is. He don't like black people. And it's okay that he don't like black people. He don't have to like me. I don't like him either. and 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 that is okay for us not to like each other. We do know every black person is not gonna be on the same team, but anybody who can sit and say Charleston White is telling the truth. See, he wanted to call y'all the N-word, so he wanted to call us the N-word, you know. So he done said it 100 times on here, y'all N-words ain't ish. So he feel like that, so he's part of the N-word nation. He's part of the N-word race. Cause Charleston White is Charleston White is horrible. Yeah, Charleston White used to go to city council meetings. And that's what happened when you speak up at city council meetings. You speak up at a city council meeting and they see somebody might hear what you're saying and they can offer you some money. Now it's up to you if you take that money. So then once you take that money, so were you really doing it for the people? Were you trying to put yourself in position to make you a little money? I've seen this my whole life. It even happened to me at going in speaking in the city council meetings, in the type of money that they can offer you. But do you want to be controlled by their money where you can still stand up for your people? Or do you want to take their little $250,000, $300,000 a year and their free house to sit on social media and speak of black people the way Charleston White speak of black people? These people don't like black people, and Azuli included. And I hear the mic.
I want to respond because I see it a little bit different in the brothers, some of the brothers, because I embrace our community's opinion, no matter how diverse it is, no matter if I don't like it or not. I think that sometimes diversity of opinion is good. It is very good because you are able to sometimes you get a better understanding of how people are thinking, and you are able to assess where you are within that thinking, because all of our community don't think the same. So some of Arzulli's opinions and Charlton White's opinions is just giving us, Garveyites, Black consciousness, or whatever, a perspective first and foremost of where our people are, and it give us an opportunity to maybe be able to not only to educate, not only to inform, but to have a dialogue. Because if the both on both sides, if we cut off from each other and say this person have this perspective, he'll never see it my way. You know what I mean? You're cutting off a conversation where you need to have with your brothers, because all your brothers ain't gonna never agree, not all the time, and not only on all the issues. If a man say he tired in terms of community activism and service to the community, that may be a legitimate sentiment in how he feels. So I feel like it's important to address that. We've been in a society for 400 years. Of course, there'll be some battle fatigue. Of course, there'll be some tiredness. You can get tired. I just say that the temptation of you being tired and saying, well, maybe I need to go hook up with the winning team. Maybe instead of practicing pro-Africanism, that Pan-Africanism, which has not really been successful or effective for me, maybe I need to practice Pan-Europeanism. Maybe that's a situation that I need to delve myself into, because that I feel like maybe they win more, because I perceive them as winning more. We need to understand what a protracted war is. In America, they had something called the Seminole Wars in South Florida. And that war was a protracted war. That war lasted a long time. Long time. People had to really mean what they was trying to fight for in terms of freedom, in terms of what they were trying to accomplish. That because that war didn't last 3 and 4 and 5 years. You know, we used to the short amount of time period to settle affairs. Sometimes wars are protracted; they last long. The Israeli and Palestinian war, that is a protracted war that lasts generations, because the Palestinians are determined and say, "This is our land, and we are willing to fight for it, no matter what." No matter what, you have to get this down into your people and mindset and have them think. The Cortez, when he first came to the South America, he burned the ships. He said, "We ain't gonna give you an alternative. We ain't gonna give you an option. You either succeed or you die." This is the alternative. Sometimes some of my Haitian brothers and sisters had to fight in their scenarios as well. You either you fight and win, or you going back to the plantations. This is the choice and the option. This is the choice and the option. Before Garvey, there was Antonio Furman from Haiti who was talking Garvey politics. So you have to give sometimes you have to educate your people. Sometimes you have to give them perspective. I don't criticize Azuli and his opinions. He don't hear me criticizing, because he giving me an opportunity to maybe express my side of the conversation. My side of the conversation, maybe he may not understand or even reflect on, because some of our people may not had the opportunity to hear our side of the conversation. They must hear our side of the conversation too, to be able to come to an objective opinion. So me disparaging the man, me talking about the man, me because I don't like what the man have to say, that's not really getting anywhere. That's not really getting anywhere. I just want to express to him my side and how I look at the world and make him make up his mind. Because like I say, the option is like how the Americans say, freedom or death. Freedom or death. Freedom or death. This is the choice, because you can't go to pan-Europeanism. Pan-Europeanism is Hitler's Germany. Pan-Europeanism for the black man is an oven. Pan-European is Hitler's oven. That's Hitler's oven for the black man. So you can't go to pan-Europeanism, because eventually that's where you go in. That's where you go. You're going right into them ovens, believe it or not. So you must fight for your self-determination in this world. You must be able to compete. I understand you're tired. I understand some black people are despondent. They're ignorant. They don't want to do certain things for themselves. You feel like you're losing on the losing team, but you must fight anyways because the choice is the oven. Either you fight with us and live to see you're fighting on your feet like men, or you can die on your knees and you're going straight into the oven. Because the white man, in the white man world, you are continuously the second class citizen. Now you're the third class citizen because the Mexican going before you. Because the Mexicans are going before you. You know, so I just want to give an alternative view and express to my brothers who may be wanted to veer away from this idea of Pan-Africanism and going into Pan-Europeanism, because that's the only choice. Because you can't be Asian, you can't become a Pan-Asian. You know what I mean? So the only choice that is left is for you to meet out this battle of Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism or perish. Pan-Africanism or the ovens. Go ask the Jews about it. Go ask the Jews about it. So you must have an honest dialogue. Like I say, it's not in my nature to cuss out nobody because they have a different opinion than me. My position is to educate the man, and if he still say, well, you know what, I can still trot on this road, I can just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. We are where we are. We are where we are. But that's my spill, Koku. Brother, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, any other last thoughts here?
Can I respond to
Yeah, go ahead. I want to respond to. Go ahead, Azuli.
So
Going to.
so it's funny how your brother said, I don't like you. I never said I didn't like you, but this is the brother that's talking about let's unite. But anyway, Black still said, I'm talking regular. I don't need to point out the imperialist colonizers, the immorality. I already know that. There's a prophet that said, no enemy without could destroy me if I don't have an enemy within. The Haitian Revolution, when America came and recolonized Haiti in 1914, Charlemagne Pérat was one of the rebels. You know who betrayed him? You know who betrayed him and let a 5-star American general in his camp to kill him? One of us. You know who betrayed Fred Hampton? One of us. You know how many, because you want to say Fred, Edgar Hoover. You know how many Black people that Edgar Hoover hired to come and destroy our movements? So when I'm saying, what I'm saying is this: the enemy without cannot destroy me if I don't have an enemy within my camp. And Black people in America and all over the world have an enemy within themselves that they have to work on. Until you don't fix that enemy that's within you, the enemy without will destroy you. So if y'all want to keep, you're not printing out the immorality of the white man, why the hell do I have to do that? History shows it. So I have grown men. He's gonna this guy he's gonna use the N-word. Koku told me not to use the N-word, so I can't use Negro. So y'all not Negroes now. So I'm just like Charleston White, because Charleston White is saying something frustration. I wonder what Fred Hampton would say right now. You saw you know who led the police and drugged him and had the police kill him? One of y'all. If that's not an enemy within, I don't know.
So go ahead,
I'm just saying. Go ahead, man.
But because there have always been, Black people do not have the monopoly on traders, right? We don't. So in the United States, one of the most famous traders, the name synonymous with traders, Benedict Arnold. He betrayed the American Revolution he tried to, at least, to the British. Some Norwegian dude named Quisling. He betrayed Norway to the Germans.
So I'm not disagreeing with you. We do have internal problems. We do have people who betray our race, and I do think our response to our traitors is not appropriate. For example, Quisling, the Norwegians, they shot him as soon as the war was over. Benedict Arnold could never come back to the United States. But I think Black people respond to our traitors the way we do is because we lack power. So I don't want to gloss over the fact that we do have internal enemies. And in many ways, these internal enemies have been as damaging to us as our external enemies. And until we come up with basically, we have to make the punishment for betrayal greater than the incentive. So, but I don't believe that Black people have we just uniquely cursed with people who are just going to betray us. And I think that just as there's bad within our race, there's good within our race. And Razuli, when we have these conversations, I don't ever hear you say anything good. I never hear you say anything good. I always hear the negative, and we're constantly bombarded with the negative. We wake up in the morning, we see negative. Yep, listen, Razuli, let me tell you, I'm a teacher. So we had a meeting with the principal, and they were going over the suspensions. And there's a kid with 23 referrals, like in 1 year. That's crazy. We're going over the test scores, and it's the Black kids with the lowest test scores. And we're going over the absentee rate, and it's always the Black children with the lowest absentee rate. I could easily say these fucking Black kids, their parents don't care about their education. They don't want to do well. They let them skip school. But then you think about the factors behind that. Like, why is it that these Black children are getting written so many referrals? The white kids act up too, but they don't get the same referrals. But look at the teachers. Are the teachers mostly white? They're mostly women. Of course, they're going to write the Black boy up faster than they write the white kid up. That's the nature of our society. But if you're just looking at it from one perspective, oh, look at all these scores, look at these referrals, you're going to look at it and say, okay, well, these niggas just don't give a shit about their education. Fuck them. But until you go deeper and look at some of the root causes of the issue, that way just the way you come to a correct analysis. That's the only thing I'm saying. Yeah, we got some traitors in our race, absolutely. But we got to look at the overall enemy. We're not trying to give these traitors a pass because we can't. We got to deal with the external enemies and the internal enemies. We have the constant education of our people. The minute we let up is the minute we fuck up. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm talking for a while.
Yo, can I say something, right? But
Yeah,
then,
of
because I
course.
know you said, and I'm gonna say. So I think we have so many internal enemies because we don't want to get rid of people. And I understood what Black Steel said. We deal with them with the way we deal with them. And it's 2 times tonight I said I understood what Black Steel said, and he ain't got to argue with
I'm
me.
on a
But
roll,
anyway,
baby. Let's go. Let's go.
but anyway, we don't have the power, so we accept them. Just like when Candace Owens was fired, you looked up and you see all of a sudden she's on all of a sudden she's on Black People Power. All of a sudden she's on Black People she's on a podcast, right? On Black People Podcast, talking about Black folk. Now she got her own thing again. So she doing what she always do. So when Charleston White say Black people get money, they don't care about Black people. Francis Ngannou, uh, who was the MMA champion, made money from that. Fought 2 heavyweight titles and he made $20 million against Anthony Joshua. He go back and he make sure he gives to his village. He make sure he's out there working with the people in the mines in Cameroon and actually trying to purchase a couple of mines now to give back because he say so the people can do better. Christian M. Billy, who's who about to soon to be world champion in boxing, just fought on ESPN. I was watching him fight. Cameroon. He does the same thing with his money. You can go through and you can find people from the United States that do the same thing. Like I'm gonna just say, let me give just one example, and I would tell people I'm not a fan of this guy, but I can talk about the things. Some people will call him a coon, even me at times maybe, but I can talk about how Michael Jordan made sure he started opening medical clinics inside the Black community. so the elderly could get free health care, and people who can't afford it on jobs can have health care in their communities. And he started in North Carolina, where he's from. So when we say that people get money and people don't care, you think, do I think they some should be around more? Yeah, but do I hold us accountable a lot of time for the reasons they are not there? I say yes. So when you say we don't ever talk about holding one another accountable, that obviously mean, right? This guy never listened, especially to someone like me. That's my biggest thing, is holding us accountable. But when we're holding a conversation and a black person can only see what a black person has done and blame everything, like I said, spin a narrative. They're gonna spin a narrative on it was the black people that got rid of Marcus Garvey. It was the black people. It was the federal government. So that's what they do. They keep you in a position where you need money, or they have you in a position where they are gonna where they can deport you. They have you in a position of begging. So now this is what I'm gonna do. Even the guy that set up Fred Hampton, and I'm not giving these people passes, but what, he was about to go to prison. And if you look and seeing what people don't, and what people and never talk about, is the outside forces. Because when you start letting everybody join, people was coming in and people was watching to see what he was doing to make sure he was doing it. So, and I'm not giving him a pass. And when you look at the Black Panthers out there in Oakland, we talk about infiltrators. Nobody ever never talk about Tony Aoki. I might be saying his name wrong. The Japanese dude. This is why I be against that. All this bringing everybody else in. They got their weapons from a known CIA agent. Those were not black people that set them up. But when we look and we can only find and say, black people did this wrong, black people this, black people that, N-word this, N-word that, and you can find people that will side with that. What I tell people is, the way Azuli can side with Charleston White is how Azuli feels about himself. And I it doesn't make a difference who it is. That's how they see themselves. So they can't get past and say somebody else did something. Nobody's saying black people is perfect. We can talk, if we can talk about what black people do wrong now, why is it such a problem to talk about what other people do wrong? Just like those black cops who tried to figure out a way to say they saw Sonya Massey pick up the pot of boiling hot water and throw at the cop. Don't care how many times you see the video, you do not see that woman you do not see that woman pick that pot of water off the stove and try to dash it on the cop. But you find black cops that somehow, some way saw, it was two of them, not a lot of them, it was like two, three of them. One of them, the first one doing it was the guy that called himself Officer Tatum, but somehow, some way, they saw what the black woman did wrong, and she was the reason that she got shot. And the only thing the guy should be charged with is aggravated assault, because he told her he would do it. And that's the problem. When people are talking about, we only look at what black people is. Ain't nobody saying black people is perfect. Ain't nobody saying we black people, we never do nothing. Because I'm not gonna say like y'all, because you separate yourself. Y'all. So we are not saying we don't ever do anything wrong, but oh my goodness, but to sit and try to make excuses for people in all, in all, in all, and all the things that they have ever done and still do to black people is absolutely overlooked and brushed out the way. You couldn't say that no better than Jesse Lee Peterson. You couldn't say that no better than those people. I let folks here the other night when Oprah Winfrey was in Forsyth County back in 1987 and in 1983, where in 1987 and 1993, where everything that happened was just black people fault. Or just like the MAGA people today when they did the interview a month ago, where it's black people fault. Slavery was so long ago. All they have to do is get in that, and we don't understand when we sit there and we say those. We don't understand. We sound just like the Confederate flag toting, tobacco spitting redneck looking for a tree with a noose in their hand to find a black person to hang it for. We don't understand. We sound just like them when we say these things where they have never done nothing wrong, and we can only point the finger at us. Ain't nobody saying black people perfect. But once we realize to say, you know what, Jesse Lee Peterson can't come around no more. Once we realize, well, ain't nobody gonna ever take up for Candace Owens again, when the whole panel can just say, you know what, Candace Owens can be lynched from a tree and I can be eating a banana and smile. That's me. Don't nobody else agree with that. But that's me. I don't care about, well, you say a tree, so that's what they can do to her, and I don't care, because
I agree with that.
that's how we gonna have to start feeling about these people. Jesse Lee Peterson, the same way. I got a cousin I told him I feel about the exact same way. But as long as we can just say, y'all, black, y'all the reason, black this, black that, well, actually, N-word this, N-word that, N. Then go listen to some white folks talk. Go listen to some Klan members talk. Go listen to these folks, Jared Taylor and David Dukes, and go listen to them talk and tell me what's the difference in them and Charleston White? What's the difference in them and Azuli? You won't be able to tell a difference. The only thing you'll know is, okay, that's Charleston White because I know his voice. That's Azuli, I know his voice. But I'm talking about, listen to the words that come out of their mouth. You won't be able to tell a difference. I hear the mic.
Oh man, brother,
One second.
one second. Yo, sorry. Yeah. So, brother, go. Okay, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Sorry.
One second, because we got folks here who've been kind of quiet. I'd like to hear something from, I don't know if Joe says still there, Mika G, and Anthony McPhail. Do you guys want to add something in here now?
Yes, but not completely the subject. It's the use of the N word. I don't know if it has priority.
Speak on it, and then we'll hear from the other folks.
So okay, here in the Netherlands, and maybe I've mentioned this before. Over a year ago. So here in the Netherlands, it used to be occupied by either the Spanish or the French. Both of them tried to make Europe one. And during the occupation, the Dutch were looked down upon, right? And they were called goose. And you still have like proverbs for weakness or for dumb with the goose, right? Connected to goose. But yeah, either the Spaniards or the French, I don't know, I don't care. They used to call the Dutch people stupid goose or something like that, goose, right? But the people that kicked the occupier out, they did that under the name Goose, right? So they were the guerrilla warriors, the Goose, right? And nowadays they still it's even a proverb. Geuzennaam, goose name, is a proverb like, oh, you call me the N word, well, I'll call me the N word because yeah, I survived your plantation and I'm still here dominating your culture. You're here in the in the United States. Nothing that you contributed makes people happy. That's us. You make us suffer. You want to make us suffer. We conquer the world with our culture, right? Yes, I am that power that you love to hate. You know, like some songs are I think Ice Cube, the N word that you love to hate, right? Yeah, in your face. Here I am in your face. So I am Cape Verdean, right? We had our colonial war, and Creole, right? I don't know what it means in the Caribbean, but with us, it's to me it's not kind of clear. Some people say it means bastard. Let me take that take, right? Creole means bastard, right? So in the colonial wars, I have a vinyl record with a handwritten letter, and the people on that record, I know them, right? Yeah, I mean the generation is starting to die, but I know them because it are people that my father grew up with, and the letter says, okay, so we couldn't have our holidays, right? our spiritual and cultural celebrations were forbidden. Now we can do that, and they name them, but they say also the same thing, like, yeah, here I am, that Creole, or, well, that bastard that you love to hate, and we kicked you out. Now we are independent. It's 75, and bye bye Portuguese, right? So a Cape Verdean in the Netherlands, I came across two times that it was used in the struggle against the enemy oppressor, occupier, and so okay, I know, right? The N word hurts people, but shouldn't the N word be like, you know, you have this saying, like, or in films, I've seen it in films, I heard it in rap music, like, to make my name taste bad in your mouth, right? So yeah, to make the N word taste bad in their mouth. I'm sorry that we, this is how I think about it. I'm sorry that we do not have pride enough to um uh, to own the N word, and that's it. It's I guess it's not really a priority, and we're never going to get to agree upon it, but I just took the chance to again explain this part of the world. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Mika G? Maybe Mika's not there. Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. I think Mika, she logged off, man. She had to go and
Okay.
do some mother stuff, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts here? Because we haven't heard from you and Real Black Gentleman in a while.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get this. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go like this. Coco, I want to say, okay, bear me just for a minute. Okay, we in a war. Just listen at me. This scenario. We in a war. We say we own whatever island. This is an island somewhere. You know, the island, and we African people, and you have the Europeans who are the colonial masters, you know, and the enslavers. Okay, you the leader of the rebel forces of the Africans. I'm a commander under you. Buana is a commander under you. No, Carl is a commander under you. Herzuli is a commander under you. Okay, now in the war, our main goal is to defeat the enemy and to drive them up out of the island and get them out of there, so we could be free, so we can have liberation for ourselves and for our people. But okay, in the midst of the war, you're gonna have one of us gonna say, "Well, look, man, okay, yes, I think we should be fighting for freedom, but I think we should fight for freedom for all people, not just for the Africans, but also for the Europeans. Now, the Europeans are already free, but we want to fight for a society where we are all equal, where it's just the island belongs to all those who live there." Nelson Mandela. You know what I'm saying? Then you have another brother who another one of the commanders who say, "Well, I know we fighting a war, and I know what our main goal is, but we also got to look at, hey, some of the stuff that we doing. You know what I'm saying? Some of the stuff that we doing to each other. You know, it's not just the Europeans that doing stuff to us. What about us? What about us who were the slave drivers for the European on the plantation? You know what I'm saying? What about us who did the bidding for the Europeans, who kept all the Negroes in line?" You know what I'm saying? You gonna have that. You gonna have that, brother. Okay, you had that commander. So in this war, you got to deal with what the main goal is liberation, but we got to deal with all these intersectionalities. Or somebody got to come up with, look here, we need the whole of. It's basically all I'm saying is Negro stalling tactics. Okay, we got the whole of the progress. Okay, now you got everybody ready, all the population, we all mobilized and ready to run these people up out of here. but you're gonna have Negroes who are gonna come on the side and say, well, look, well, hold up for a minute. You know, we got to think about what's gonna happen after the war. How we gonna deal with these Europeans that's gonna be left? Or we gonna wipe them out? You know what I'm saying? Or what's gonna be our relationship with the mother country, the country that colonized us, and all this? I'm saying this is the way. This is the same thing. What happened in South Africa is what happened in Zimbabwe. You know what I'm saying? Now, as soon as Robert Mugabe and Zanla and the rebel forces got the upper hand, Europeans started playing tricks. They throwed in the Lancaster Agreement, and they said, well, look here, we're going to do it like this here. Okay, we're going to have an agreement where over a period of time, you know, the whites going to turn back over the land. They said, which they never did. The same thing in South Africa. They said, well, Nelson, we're going to let you out of jail. You're going to come in. You're going to appease the people. The people are going to be happy and full of joy because you walked out of jail. But the same thing, the status quo remains. White folk, we still own 75% of the land. They'll say we still control the economy. We control all the mineral wealth and everything. So basically, ain't nothing changed. Apartheid, they did, number change clothes. It's the same thing. This is all of this is it's the same con game to keep us from fighting. Dr. Amos Wilson said you got to fight a revolution to the end. And so what I'm saying, when you have, I mean, I'm not talking about nobody particularly, you know, I'm talking about the idea. I'm not talking about brothers on the panel. But I'm saying one thing we're gonna have to deal with, we got to deal with these Negroes that try to start a revolution. You know what I'm saying? We got these Tariq Nasheeds, these Charleston Whites, all these people who will come around and throw a distraction to keep your eyes off the main goal. The one that'll tell you Negroes ain't shit. The one that'll tell you black women ain't shit. The one that'll tell you we can't work together because you're a communist. No, you're a capitalist, or you're whatever. You're a Christian. You're a Muslim. You're a traditionalist. All this stuff. But our main goal is to win the fight. We win the fight. After we done won the fight, we'll sit down, we'll talk, and we'll hash out, you know, whatever. I'm saying, but during the fight, when you have all these jokers that's come around and come up with all kind of Negro stalling tactics to stop you from pursuing the fight, that's what I'm talking about. And we got to deal with these Negroes, man. And we got to quit giving them platforms, quit giving them power to disrupt our fight. No, we ain't gonna never win as long as we're saying, okay, well, you know, all voices need to be heard. No, sometimes voices need to be heard. We need to listen to them on the side somewhere. Okay, yeah, I see what you're about. You know what? No, get him on with him around there. We don't need him around there. Because you know what I'm saying? That kind of poison man will affect other people. You know, we already dealing with people who we'd have been dumbed down. Look at all that we got going against us as far as the culture. You know what I'm saying? This dumbed down culture, this degeneracy. You know what I'm saying? This low frequency, this low vibrational stuff, Koku, that you talk about, the vibration. You know what I'm saying? We got all of this right now. It don't take much for a Tariq Nasheed to come in and tell some people who don't have an identity anyway, who don't know their identity, who ain't been taught nothing in school, who don't know nothing about we ahistorical, we don't read history. Okay, so you get a sucker like that can come in and tell you some stuff like this. Oh man, we this right here. And next thing you know, you got black people in one part of the world going against black people in the other part of the world. You know what I'm saying? And looking at them as the enemy instead of the motherfucker that's oppressing both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that's all I'm saying. We got to lay there. We can't give these Negroes power. No, we can't give these Negroes no platform. We can't allow these Negroes, Koku. If like I said, you my commanding officer, I'm one of your officers, and I come to you with some bullshit like that, you know what you need to do with me? You need to say, we're going to either exile him or take him around the back of the building and shoot his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Those Negro stalling tactics is what's going to stop the revolution. And I'll leave it off right there.
Yeah.
All right, Real Black Gentleman, do you want to add anything or not?
Yeah, I'll try to be brief. I guess, geez. I mean, just talking about broke woke. One thing I can say is that sometimes when you don't have money, you want to spend other people's money. Now, that's one aspect of it. But the real aspect I really want to say is like, you know, when you don't have anything, and we being in this situation, you tend not to have anything. You tend to become aware, woke or whatnot, and you become extra aware beyond what you might have just grown up with, right? You got the internet, you start to get information, you start doing research, you start going down that rabbit hole, right? But you don't really have that much money, but you have time to figure out what's going on, and that's a good thing. I'm not rich. If I'm the idea, if you're broke and woke and you want to care about the community, don't care about it, care of it, care for it. Like, you know, if you don't have anything, the worst thing you can do is mope about what you don't have with other people who don't have anything. At some point, one or both of you are going to have to do something. Now, if it's just you, you know, it might turn into what am I trying to say? You know what I'm saying? Who'll help the mother hen trying to make I'm just saying a nursery rhyme or all thing. But this the story of like, okay, who's going to help me build a community? Not I, said the thief. Not I, says the pirate. And then when you build a community, who's going to help me enjoy the community? The pirate and the thief says, I will. And then it's like, nah, you didn't really help me build a community. I can't let the thief and the pirate come in and enjoy this community because you're just going to just tear it apart. You're not even going to try to make the community grow like a loaf of bread. You got to be careful about the caring about, you know, when you drive a car, you have a roundabout, you're going around it. You're not going at it. You don't want to care about it. You don't want to care for it. You want to have a forwardness and a furthering about what it is that you would care about. If it is like a corner or, you know, making sure that, you know, what you do is good for another person, for yourself. I mean, community is another broad word. You know what I'm saying? It's not a very localized word. Community should not mean just the broadness of people between LA and New York. That's a very broad sense. There's a lot of everything in between that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people are different where they are. You know what I'm saying? Being despondent, the stressors upon people. And I mean, you want to see a better world. I mean, but I mean, people go through their cycles. And so it's like, do broke wokes care? Do only broke wokes care about it? So if I have money, I mean, you don't want to have money. I mean, and then like not be in the community. I mean, you don't care about, I mean, you won't care about it then. I mean, but it's like, it's one of those things like when we're talking about, you know, the community in the United States, it's different than talking about like Black people's commonalities and their you know what I'm saying, their nationalism and their citizenship in other places. It's like, speaking of Charleston White, I mean, I personally don't really like listen to him at all. To me, I mean, there's comedy where you make people laugh, where you're kind of laughing, you know what I'm saying, with other people, and there's comedy where you're laughing at other people. And I mean, too much of that comedy laughing at other people and just, you know, pointing at other people and just trying to get a like a sarcastic like response at it. I mean, I really don't listen to I don't know his background. I truly don't. I mean, it doesn't really appeal to me what he says. I'm not gonna lie, it really doesn't. I mean, sometimes people, you know what I'm saying, try to be shock jocks instead of comics. And I mean, just for shock value and just saying something that clearly a lot of people are going to have a visceral response to just to get the response, just to stir stuff up. I mean, there's times when you do want to like stir up controversy, when you do have to like stir that kettle and like say that, you know, this is rotten, it stinks, like this activity is bad, but just to stir things up in the, you know, if you have a pot, sometimes you don't want to stir up the pot. You just gotta let things cook and boil. Otherwise, it's not going to boil. I mean, I'm not a fan of him. I really don't listen to him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, geez. I mean, I think that, you know what I'm saying, if you are broke and you are woke, make sure that you are actively attempting to do for the community and not just care about it. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. I would ask if there's any last thoughts, but I think I got through everyone. Is there any last thoughts from anyone?
Yeah, let me just quickly. Two things.
Please
One.
Be brief. Everyone who's about to go, please be brief. We crossed the 4-hour mark already, so only go ahead, and then whoever else wants to join in, just join in. Don't wait for me to call you out. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So the one thing is, the Constitution of the UNIA 1918 says registered active membership with all dues paid up shall be a Negro and shall be proven to be conscientious in the cause of racial uplift. He shall not be married to anyone of an alien race. And the other one I wanted to read was Marcus Garvey said, the white man has succeeded in subduing the world by forcing everybody to think his way. The white man's propaganda has made him the master of the world, and those who have come in contact with it and accepted it have become his slaves. What I want to say is, a lot of times people are just talking out of their snow bunny, their love for snow bunnies. And Garvey was saying, in his organization, do not like if you love snow bunnies, you can't be a part of it. And this, I feel like a lot of the stuff demonstrates it. And the only thing I want to add to that is, when people talk about, who are the enemies within, you really gotta realize it's those people who are either, it's the Charleston whites, right? It's the people who are either sellouts or the people who are going for the snow bunnies. The people who get tired and then betray their people, right? Those are the people who are the sellouts. Those are the people who are the enemies within. Those are the people that the white boy uses against us. Those are the traitors. And we have to understand it that way. And that's it.
Like I was saying, I think Charleston White is just expressing frustration. And
Can you
whether
speak up, because I wasn't even sure someone was speaking this now.
I'm saying that, like I was saying earlier, I think Charleston White is just expressing frustration, and or maybe he did sell out, or maybe he did what he did. But I'm just looking at it from the point of view that a lot of people have worked with the community. A lot of people have used um, their skill or their talent to better the mentality of the community, and sometimes they run into these people into this fight within the community, which really frustrates them and makes them, you know what, I'm just gonna do me. So I didn't hear. So it, like somebody just said, maybe there's a way that you can, when you feel frustrated, you should pass it on or whatever, or take a break or whatever. Yeah, maybe that's what Charleston White, if that's what he's feeling, or other people like him should be doing. That's a great idea to be like, just like I think they said when people came back from wars, they didn't allow them back in the community. They had to go be debriefed somewhere else for a couple of months and then come in the community. So my thing is, I don't know what these guys are saying. I'm just understanding the frustration of somebody like him, whether he's genuine or not. But I'm just using him as somebody who might be frustrated with the what you call it, with the uphill battle. So that's what I was saying.
All right, that's the show for tonight. I want to thank everyone who was involved. Before you guys leave the panel, I would like you guys to give a positive shout out, or a shout out along the lines of Garvey tonight. So let's do that. You guys in the chat do the same. I'll try to read those. If you're still here with us, I'll try to read those off as well. I'll just go right down the line. Oni, what would you like to shout out this week?
When we talk about sellouts, and who are the enemies within and all that kind of stuff, we also got to remember that there are people who are just loyal and on brand, on code, and always. I think the shout out goes to my brother Ibrahim Traore, because anybody, because it's easy to sell out, it's easy to get tired, it's easy to get frustrated, it's easy to see whatever, but this brother does not Like he doesn't. He, you know, anybody could, you know, when you're in that position where he's at, you could be making good money. Dude rejects that. Okay. And instead he provides for his people what they need. One of the recent stories was about the you know, he might be driving like a regular car or something like that, but he gave the medical staff, you know, these brand name vehicles or whatever, right? That right there is what we have to start celebrating. And when we talk about who, you know, who's the leader in the community and all that kind of crap, right? Or not crap, but who we talk about, you know, we can't bring in the same, we can't use the same sentence or the same phraseology for the brothers like Troy. So shout out to my brother Troy. That's it.
Appreciate that, Oni. I like to point out this comment too from Afro Native World. He said, I think this convo overspent time on discussing Charleston White and not the matter of whether only someone with less economic resources cares about the community. Should revisit this convo without it. I think that's a great idea, Afro Native World. Trigger, hit me up about it or post a new prompt on it if you don't mind, and we'll use an attachment with someone less controversial, I guess. Buana, what would you like to shout out this week? Buana, you're muted if you're talking, brother. All right, can't hear Buana. Real Black Gentleman, what would you like to shout out this week?
No. I'm here. So I want to quote Marcus Garvey, one of my favorite quotes from Marcus Garvey. He said that if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won before you've even started. I want to acknowledge, first and foremost, Jose Bronze for getting me on message, because he made me eat my words tonight, because I usually talk about having confidence in self and being a do for self kind of individual and seeing yourself as the pace setter in the world. And when we ask, well, who is going to replace us? Who's going to replace the white man in power? We are going to replace. We are going to be the replacement. We are the rightful rulers of this universe. So we should be the replacement in terms of power in this world. So I appreciate him for telling me that. Also, let me say to Brother Bakari, I appreciate the fact that Brother Bakari is confrontational at times, but he speaks his mind. And as men, we should speak as men. He wasn't loud. He wasn't trying to argue, but he was very clear in what he was saying and staying on message, in disagreeing with our brother Azuli, but still being respectful of the conversation itself. I appreciate that kind of dialogue and conversation. I really do. As far as Anthony is a brilliant mind, absolutely brilliant mind, where many people could just sit down and just listen to the brothers talk, man. He's a brilliant brother. Straight up, man. Straight up. But to the brothers on the panel, I appreciate the dialogue and conversation, and I'm out, man. I really do. And Coco, you know what it is. I'm gonna get with you, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Buana. Let's go to Real Black Gentleman. What would you like to shout out this week?
I'm gonna tag on. I'm gonna shout out the people of Mali. Right now, they being sabotaged in particular. They got a incident where I think, what was it? It was like Ukraine was talking about how they gave like support to the Tuaregs, and they you know what I'm saying, did an incident in there. It can't be easy, you know what I'm saying, when you know what I'm saying, you're basically you are putting yourself out there, you are attempting to shrug off any attempts of influence in any direct or indirect manner. You're attempting sovereignty over your territory, and you know what I'm saying, the whole idea is that the Sahel, you know what I'm saying, the that alliance is really crucial. It truly is I mean, should be emulated all over the continent. I mean, if it takes groups of countries of 3, if it's just the template, I mean, I can't stress enough how political integration with other countries and just not leaving fissures, boundaries, or fake front lines for another country to propagandize and utilize. There should be no space, just like the stones of the pyramids. Not a paper can come between those 3 nations. You know what I'm saying? Not a slice of paper can come between those 3 nations. That, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's a kind of profound way of saying it, but no little flimsy document should ever come between those nations. You know what I'm saying? As long as, you know what I'm saying, France or whoever else would attempt to, like, you know, divide and fraction this cause just dissension. Now, I just want to give, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to keep shouting, you know what I'm saying, we all should shout that out. Everyone, you know what I'm saying, should shout out anytime Black people are trying to unify, you know what I'm saying, and trying to at least have stability over, you know what I'm saying, their land and asserting it to their maximum. I'm gonna pass the mic.
Appreciate that, RBG. Let's hear from Brother Bakari.
Yeah, first I want to give a shout out to the host, man, for hosting this and his having his son becoming a freshman at Lincoln.
I think Brother Bakari's sound dropped out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bakari, your sound dropped out. I'll come back to you, Bakari. Anthony, what would you like to shout out this week?
Yeah, man. I want to give a shout out to the Honorable Marcus Garvey, man. You know, I just want everybody to know. Look, you see, I got my philosophies and opinion right here. Can y'all see it?
Yeah. We see it.
My philosophies and opinion of Marcus Garvey right here. And I just want to take time out to give a small. I got a brother. I think Coco. I know you may have heard of him, brother Zahir Touré. And I know Carl's probably heard of him because, you know, he's from the socialist perspective. He's with community movement builders. His name is Zahir Touré, and he publishing his first book, and it's called the book is called Becoming African Radical. That's and the subtitle is Transformation in the Maguzi tradition. You know, the Maguzi philosophy of the 6 African virtues. Yeah, his name is Zahir Touré, man. He has his first book coming out. Yeah, and it's called Becoming African Radical. I just want to give a shout out to him, man, and peace to all the brothers on the panel, man, and peace to you, Coco.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you for coming through. Thanks for bringing your sister-in-law through too. That's admirable. Also, I want to mention earlier we had a full panel. Someone was trying to get in. I forgot to mention this earlier, but we had a full panel at the time. So my apologies to whoever it was who didn't get in tonight. But come back next week and you could join the panel. Hopefully then. Azulias, what would you like to shout out? This guy fainted and died or something? What happened?
You can't hear me? Hello?
Okay. Speak now. Yeah. Go ahead.
I want to shout out all the new energy that's gonna come into this world. May your warrior spirit never be stomped out. So shout out to that. And shout out to August 15, one of the most memorable battles in the Haitian Revolution. August 15, Kenzout. That's what Haitian people celebrated. All right, one.
Appreciate it. Jose, what would you like to shout out this week? Jose, you're muted if you're talking. All right, I think Jose is gone. I think Bakari is back now. Bakari, what would you like to shout out?
Okay, I said I wanted to give a shout out to the host, for hosting this panel.
Yeah.
For hosting this panel. and having his son become a freshman at Lincoln University this year. I want to give I want to give a shout out to Azuli for coming on the panel, man. You know, me and Black Steel. He's normally the dude I debate with. You came here and took his place. So so I appreciate you coming on it. So I appreciate you coming on the panel. I appreciate the people. I appreciate the people in the chat, and I appreciate them. A shout out all the black people that's out here that's really trying and want to see our people do better. Oh yeah, and one more. I want to shout out my young man, Big Mike. I sent him to Oni. He seen him. Brother, I was telling you about 19 years old, designed his own car engine and put his own car engine together. So I think that's something we need to be trying to sew into a brother who already know how to design a car engine and know how to build a car engine. He said the only thing he need help with at time is the parts. So that's my shout out for this week. Thank you for letting me speak on your panel.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Black Steel, last but not least, what would you like to shout out this week?
I want to shout out to Carl for agreeing with me twice in one night. Big up yourself. Great show. I'll talk to y'all next week, Lord willing.
All right, see you next week. Jose, it sounds like you're back. What would you like to shout out this week?
Yes, shout out to everybody Marcus Garvey was talking to. I mean, their ancestors. So yeah, the whole diaspora. I wish not everybody is going to go home, and not only because they won't be good for Africa, but also because they got a post all over the world, right? I mean, where we were brought to serve as cattle. When are we going to colonize that? You know, when are we going to work together and make those countries look like our like African satellite countries, right? So yeah, indirect shout out to our elder and ancestor Marcus Garvey.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, guys. Afro Native in the chat says we give thanks to Nana Amy Jacks Garvey because if it wasn't for her, most of us today would not know Papa Garvey's words. That's a good shout out as well. I second that one. We'll be back next week. So join the Discord in the meantime. Share the episode with your peoples. Let them know about the clips. Shoot the Breeze clips. They could go there and get the individual segments once I put them up there. I'll see you guys next week at 8 p.m. You guys be good. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.